find himself getting passed by multiple cars, as I mentioned earlier on. So Newhoff in a very precarious situation, but he often finds himself in these places. He doesn't qualify as well as he races.
Up front, they are getting with Lee Aberdeen and Luca Varani, not very far apart at all here. But I just want to see how Alistair Haig deals with Marcello Kessler coming around the old hairpin.
I would say it's not the best decision they've ever made, just not having done that under the safety car, really.
Yeah, they're taking their pit stop strategies from Ferrari lately or something. What's going on?
In turn one, just too much gas on them, too much feet on the round pedal, and unfortunately he's dropped him all the way down the order. But Philip Hammer is out in front by an 8.91 seconds. Dan Michael is a wall there, sir. And it definitely doesn't want to be hitting that earlier on as well.
Difficult, the understeer is in the dirty air through that final corner because it's such a long corner and you get dragged off into the grass very easily. He'll have the slipstream down towards the chicane. Peterson was briefly alongside, but that slipstream has saved him and kept him in third.
Yeah, Varani now lost a little bit of time to Aberdeen, about half a second. Peterson is Pike's pushed Morton forward up ahead. He's got out of line. Is now Pike going to have a go at Werrell? Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still start trouble. He's left on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Moving on to the back end of Phil Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's a lot have fun. Yeah, it's all about the entertainment. So I hope everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is been enjoying himself watching. The Burger King machine's off into the grass a little bit there. Is that really bunching up now?
Does he have it?
Medeiros is going to get it.
Oh, they're going to toss it. They haven't got it.
He's on the outside line though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such chopper. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's going to do it. Big Barry.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a good Sunday evening of racing here from Talladega Superspeedway, some track that everybody should know if you're a NASCAR fan. Of course, my name is Bradley Dalton, and I am going to be joined behind the cameras and on the co-commentator side by Mr. James Parfitt, who's had a long day, me and him have been talking about, but 2.65 miles and 69 laps here with Triple Bypass, with the Triple Bypass Anniversary Celebration 69, brought to you by Jason Benson here. It's round 9 from Talladega Superspeedway, and James, there's just something about Talladega that gets me excited. I don't know about you.
Yeah, it definitely does. It's a super speedway. I think that's the thing. When you put the terms of super speedway together, it makes it absolutely amazing. And this is just a full flat run for your beans. Do you know what I mean? Just put the pedal to the metal and go. And as you say, don't forget, guys, if you want to get yourself involved, 5 nights of racing here on the Triple Bypass as well. Sundays Gen 4, Tuesdays late models, Wednesday's road racing, Thursday's Xfinity, and Friday is the GTP GT3. I believe Wednesday's the GR86, if I'm not mistaken. Head over to triplebypassracing.com and you can get yourself involved in all the action. And of course, a big shout out to Jason Benson, who has sponsored today's race, dear sir.
Yeah, Jason Benson, awesome that he sponsored it here. Of course, we're going through the tail end of practice here, only about a minute left. And of course, Triple Bypass getting ready to celebrate their 2024 celebration. So that's why this is called the Anniversary Celebration 69. It's 69 laps around this wonderful super speedway of Talladega. And then, of course, they are getting ready to look forward ahead at their 1-year anniversary, which is going to be on the Triple Bypass YouTube, the live stream Saturday, March 9th at 10:30 p.m., where they're going to sit back and they're going to look at the past year of things. The admin are going to be hanging around. The founders will be back. So just feel free to join them and shout out and go ask questions, hang out. It's a league that I've enjoyed doing a lot of commentary with. Of course, they have all of the different series that James mentioned, but I've enjoyed getting to know these guys, getting to see them race, and getting to learn everything that Triple Bypass Racing has to offer. So definitely would recommend checking that out. Again, that is March 9th at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time. James, you'll probably be in bed for it, or you might be awake.
Dude, I'm a special guest. I'm not
He's
really.
going to be there because he doesn't sleep.
I've just volunteered myself to be a special guest, Mr. Corey. To be fair, I don't even know what day that is. What day is March the 9th? That is next Saturday. I may actually probably still be awake because I have a broadcast on the Saturday morning at 2 a.m. So probably will still be up.
Yeah, James doesn't sleep, and if you don't know that, well, now you do. He doesn't know how to take a break.
See, this is the thing, everybody's misconception that I don't sleep. I do sleep. I just sleep at weird times, which is normally an hour on the sofa like I did earlier, or a couple of hours there as well. So I don't know. I do sleep, but just not when normal regular times. Do you know what I mean? So there we go. Don't forget, guys, as well, while we're here, if you want to get yourself involved in Talladega, you can go along to Talladega for the Geico 500 on April 21st, 2024. So if you've not been at all, you can go across to the Geico 500. You've also got the AG Pro 300 on the 20th and the General Tyre 200 on April 20th, a little bit earlier on in the day. So there's racing going on at Talladega in real life as well. So get yourself down there if you can and you want to get involved in that one. Because I'm sure here, watching this live, Brad, full flat racing, full just going for it, being in it, would actually be amazing.
Yeah, there's nothing like Talladega. Let's get this on board here with Dustin Barton, because here's the thing that you're going to see as you watch Dustin Barton. He doesn't lift. He doesn't anything. It is genuinely just don't let off the throttle and don't mess up. There's a reason super speedways are so much fun. You hit the banking gear and it's just flat, as close to the wall as you dare, as fast as you can get these cars going. It's genuinely just a test of bravery is all that Talladega is. It's the same with Daytona. It's just a test of bravery. You're trying to avoid the big one. You want to get in the draft. It's whatever you can do to get through. Now, the only difference with Talladega is that the start-finish line is right here. So it is not in the middle of the tri-oval. It is down closer to turn one. So you do have to keep that in mind. There is that little bit of extra room, and we've seen races at Talladega decided by that little bit of extra room between the middle of the tri-oval and the end of the straight there. So we'll see how drivers act and how they keep up with that, James, because it's gonna get interesting, and I have a feeling that is genuinely gonna be what decides something for someone.
Oh yes. Oh, yes. Now, we've got a poll running in chat of how many cautions. That we just called it over and under. We do this pretty much every week. I put 0 on there, being optimistic. +2, +5, or +10 there as well. Now, obviously, if you think 7, hit +5. You know what I mean? But anything over or under that, let us know and see what you think on that one as Slaughter goes on to pole position with Dustin Barton. Do you know what, right? As far as qualifying goes in NASCAR, I think this part of it is just irrelevant. Because Keith Hanlon, who hasn't qualified, could go out and win the race from the back easily. So, I don't know why do we have qualifying in NASCAR, Brad?
Qualifying in super speedways really doesn't make sense to me. Now, on smaller tracks, for example, we ran Motegi last week. Now, that is a track where I do think qualifying genuinely makes a difference, because that is where you're going to see the different techniques. As you learned last week, you'll see different ways to run and different ways to learn and different ways that you should handle the car around a track like Motegi. Now, at a flat-out track like Talladega, the Jeff Gordon livery, Matt Parasini, I love you. I love you, I love you, I love you when you're watching this VOD back. Good livery there. But back to my thought process here. Tracks like Talladega, it doesn't matter what you do on qualifying. You could put in a 3-minute lap right now, just coast it around. It's genuinely going to matter when you're in the draft and you're down in the middle of turn 2 and somebody spins in front of you. Do you avoid that, or do you get in the mix of it? Are you the one getting spun? Are you spinning someone? Are you wrecking somebody on a pace lap? That is going to be what sets this race apart for these drivers.
There's a lot of digging today, Brad. There's a lot of digs you put in on me already in that first one opening statement. Yes?
It's not a dig.
I got spun at Motegi by somebody trying to say hello on the pace lap, okay, while I was commentating and driving, which, to be honest, if you're a commentator, go out and experience, because it was very interesting trying to keep up with the action. What Brad was saying at the time and what I was doing on track was completely different, but it was fun to try and do. But yes, I did get spun on the pace lap as well. Cameron Kane decided that it would be a good idea to come and say hello, but he hit me too hard and I ended up going round before I'd even got anywhere. So that was a great start to my evening there as well. But the grid is here for you, Brad. There you go.
First off, James, I'm not digging. I did enjoy it, and I do want to try it sometime. Number 2, Jason Benson and Matt Parasini finding the front row, and you can see just how close these times are. It's going to be something to notice all the way through. These gaps are very, very close. Jeff Slaughter and Alex Goff will round out our second low. Mark Herzog and Kyle Gresh will round out the third low. John Sinew and Dustin Barton. Row 4, Ben Harcum, John Campbell, row 5, and then Carson Catlin and John Barton in row 6.
Yes. Sorry. I've lost me. Yeah, there we go. Carry on.
Awesome. And then you got Matt Harmon and John the Naj Crutchley. Rounding out your next row, Ward Fisher, Ryan Hyatt, Mike Weeda, Derek Catt, Keith Hanlon, Jaden Henry, and Cameron Kane are 21 drivers participating. And looking at everyone that put in qualifying times, those qualifying times were real close. So, again, qualifying doesn't matter here at Talladega, but the drivers are fairly close paced and matched on their own. Now, how do 21 cars handle in the draft here is going to be the question for 69 laps.
Full flat, go for it, see what happens.
This is genuinely a case of just send it.
Yeah, just go for it. absolutely bean it. See what happens around you. Get into the last 10, start moving around like a little bit of a jigsaw puzzle, and see where you end up. That's basically it, right? And that's it pretty much in any Cup Series. Do you know the weirdest thing, right, is I went to sit down on Friday night it was, and watch the Truck Series that's taking place over the weekend. And I put it on with all great intentions, forgetting that I had a broadcast at some unruly time in the morning. And I missed the whole of the last half of the trucks, partly because my eyes closed on the sofa and I didn't wake up again until the end. So yeah, that was quite interesting.
See, your experience as a NASCAR fan is my experience as a Formula One fan being based in the U.S. I wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning and I fall asleep in the middle. I wake up 25 seconds win by Max Verstappen. I really didn't miss a lot.
No, I didn't even watch the Grand Prix. I said to the wife, come on, we'll put the highlights on, and I gave up after about 30-something laps. I was just like, yeah, bored now. So there we go. Chris P, Weedle, Jeffrey, get it, boys. And where are there over or under? I say 2, so he's already voted on the poll. We'll leave the poll up from the green flag drop, guys. Let us know what you think. Over or under 2, 5, or 10? Do we think we're going to get to 10 tonight? I really hope not. But these guys are generally clean, so I don't think we'll even get that many.
I think we're going to have at least one because of the nature of super speedway racing. I think these guys will get antsy near the end, and if we're going to get one, it'll be near the end. But then again, I have commentated triple bypass, and I've commentated these guys go a full 100 laps on a super speedway without a single caution. So anything's possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I think it's possible that we could end up with none, to be honest, the way these guys are running here. And it wouldn't surprise me if we do end up with none, to be blatantly honest, because they're so good at their driving and their ability that none seems to be an obvious choice when you look at the history that triple bypass have got here. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a lot of clean drivers here and 69 laps of action coming at you from Talladega. Barty the flagman has that flag up. The cars come through the tri-oval. They hit that Geico zone. Green flag's out, and we are going to be underway here. And it is Jason Benson in that 42 leading us off. And you can see the 42-24. Things are going to stay fairly even here because, again, this is a super speedway. It's about the draft. So 00 there of Alex Goff is going to stay up on the high side. With Mr. Matt Parasini down on the low side, you're going to have Ben Slaughter and Jeff Slaughter and Jason Benson there, forgive me, that are going to be running through that. Number 27 of Kyle Gresh in the Waltrip livery making a show again, and the number 57 of Mr. Mark Herzog that is showing up. So you're going to see these guys for the start of the race and for a good chunk of time stay 2 by 2 through, unless the 00 wants to prove me wrong there in the Cosmic Brownies livery and wants to go to the high line. Now, if you're the number 037 here, you need to get back in the draft. You need to push your way forward very, very quickly. Mr. Cameron Kane, if you fall out of the draft, it's going to be a very, very long and lonely race for you, sir. But we're 1 lap down, 68 laps to go, and very nicely, they've made it through lap 1.
I agree. If Cameron Kane loses the draft, he will lose himself quite rapidly, along with John Crutchley, Derek Catt, and Keith Hanlon at the back. That isn't any disrespect, but you're so draft heavy and so draft dependent that you've got to make sure you're keeping it all the time on a super speedway. Otherwise, it can go wrong there. As you see the 13 car just drift out, Lotus Dustin Barton. This is almost up into the wall as well, Brad. But at the moment, so far, so clean. Touch wood, everything will be gravy.
Yeah, Mr. Barton, it is a little too early to be trying to take this race 3 wide. Now, you can see when you look at the track, the very, very clearly painted lines. This track is painted with 3 wide in mind. It's a very wide speedway. So it does allow for 3 wide action to go through, and you see the number 13 there. Slots right on back in, and he is going to unfortunately slot in back in P17. So Dustin Barton losing a lot of pace there early on. But the good news is he's got 66 laps to go here. And it's not unusual to see someone from the back of the pack magically win, especially if a wreck happens and they avoid it. You end up all the way back up in the front, so it's not unrealistic to see that you're back in the back a little bit more, but the front guys are going to want to stay there, but the guys in the back have just as much of a chance. You get that draft going, you get a couple friends involved, and you go to the outside, you can push it around, and you can move your way forward. There's nothing that says you can't.
No, absolutely not. These guys come over the start line very quickly, actually, to be fair. There once more, as they're all still very close together now as well. Kane has caught back up onto the bottom, the back of the pack, which is great to see here as they're coming out the exit of 2 along that back stretch now, going into 3 and 4. And at the moment, they're still all side by side. They're all nice and clean here as well, which is something that we probably wouldn't have been said already if this was an official race, as these guys are continuing to battle on here as well. But 4 is 69, 65 on the clock. I don't think if we're going to get a caution, it will be till lap 10, maybe, something like that, if we do get one, because that will allow these guys to basically be clean for at least 10 laps before something drastic happens. But we've got to see if something drastic is going to happen at all here.
Yeah, and the thing is, these Gen 4 cars can be a little unruly at times. The bumpers don't line up, so if any of these guys get a little antsy and get a little bit too close underneath, I mean, they can spin someone around real quick. They can connect and lock up and, you know, really start some action if they want to. Mr. Jason Benson, though, continuing to just run up front and just keep things forward here, with Matt Parasini just holding that outside line together. So 2x2 is the way, and honestly, if you want a clean race and you want to make it to the end, you just want to settle 2x2 for now. You can't do it forever, but, you know, 5 on the clock, I think we're okay at the moment for these guys to come around another lap, keep things together. That number 88 of Mr. Slaughter, Jeff Slaughter there, getting a little low now. The inside line at Talladega isn't as strict. That yellow line, you don't want to go below it, especially on the corners here. You can see just how steep that banking can get there on the corners. But on the straights, you will see these guys kind of they'll flirt with the line a little bit. They'll get a little close, especially down the tri-oval.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? When you're looking at this in general, you know, where we are on board with Alex Goff, he's on the outside at the moment. Look how straight they are, you know, and this is the thing. People don't quite understand the importance of staying straight and running a line, you know, and that's the thing. When you're on a super speedway, just run a line that stays straight, because the people behind will be able to push you, and they'll be able to push you square. That's the thing they've got to make sure that they're aware of. As you see, Slaughter just dropped down onto that inside line as well. He's taken the front away from Benson. Now that's left the 00 of Goff, who's got Gretsch behind him, then Campbell, then Harmon. So that outside line really need to get in line like the bottom line and start moving forward.
Yeah, it can be very tricky, especially if you're not experienced in draft racing, to run draft racing and to run pack racing in NASCAR. Now, these guys are all very, very well experienced, so I don't anticipate any issues, but that is something that you kind of learn as you go, and you'll learn a bit more about it as you develop and you do your time. Again, if this was a, you know, online official race in iRacing and not in a league, this race would look a lot different, but the guys are doing really good at staying straight, staying together, and they're also trying to watch their temps a little bit. You'll see down the straight, some of the guys will get a little bit out of line. It's not that they're wanting to try to make a move necessarily, but it's that they need to get some clean air in those radiators. They need to keep those engine temps down, those radiator temps down, because these cars can't overheat, and that is something that people don't think about with iRacing. You have that full engine simulation. You can overheat these motors, and these Gen 4 cars don't like sitting in that hot exhaust for too long.
No, they've got to be aware they've got to make a gap at some point, right? We know that as well. Just come out and give it a bit of a breather and then slot back in as you go into the corner. As you can see, the 57 of Herzog just using that at the moment, tri-oval, to basically try and cool the car, and then they'll just slot back in coming into the corner again, and then you wouldn't be surprised if you come out of turn 2 and Herzog's doing the same thing once more. They're going to be whizzing around. They will got to cool. You've got to cool, because as you say, if you don't, you're going to be in trouble, and then you're going to have the temps go through the roof, and then your Jim's going to be swearing at you and the crew chief app, and so as Perezzini gets a little bit of a blink on there as well. So they've got to make sure they're calling the engines, otherwise they're going to be in deep trouble. But I think these guys are smart enough. I think this is the thing. This is probably one of the few leagues that we do where they make commentary so easy, because they know what they've got to do and know what they're doing. right? I've watched leagues that have had 15, 16, 17, 18 cautions at Daytona or at Bristol or whatever, but these guys would probably have 0 because of the way that they're moving. They're not stupid. They know they've got to clock off the laps. They know then at the last 10 they can look at making moves. And all of them are very, very smart. We've got a mixture of Australians, Canadians and Americans, and none of them are dumb. That's the thing. They know what they're doing. But I am a little bit worried about Jaden Henry, who has kind of lost the draft to Derek Catt by about 3 seconds here. Catt's almost bordering line and losing it as well. There's a car running the outside line at the moment, almost pushed against the wall, and if they're not careful, they're going to start getting dropped off, and that's the last thing you want on a super speedway.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think Jaden Henry might be a write-off unless there's a caution to bring him back in the mix, because he is going to lose a lot of pace. They're trying to go 3 wide in the midfield there. Who is that? That's the 824 Sanu. Man,
on the outside, yeah.
That number 13 of Barton has been catching himself on that outside line. I don't know what he's been doing. He's got some help there from Cameron Kane in the background. If Cameron Kane can get up to him, I mean, he's trying to work his way forward. He's working that side draft just enough, but I mean, it's still way too early. And this is the thing: you've got to think. Nobody cares where you were at on lap 11 of the race. I don't care who was P7 on lap 11. I care where were you at when the checkered flag dropped. Now he slots back in. He worked his way forward there with that side draft. I mean, he's doing good. He's moving his car forward, but man, it's a little too early to be pushing that 3 wide envelope, I think.
Well, maybe he just wants to try and make the moves. He's up 2 from where he started. He's going 3 wide again. He's running that outside line. You know, we don't know what the situation is with their tyres there. Are they looking at tyre saving? Are they going to be looking at doing everything? Because as you say, we've got 69 laps. They have got 3 sets of tyres. They've got 1 fast repair and 3 GWCs, wave arounds and lucky dogs are on as well. So maybe Barton finds the outside line easier and smoother for tyre saving.
Honestly, he might, because he's working his way forward. He's holding it 3 wide there. He's got the 117 to Campbell down underneath, and then Slaughter's right there as well. I mean, holding that 3 wide line, and again, Talladega is really good about very clear paved lines. The 117 tries to chop the nose there off of Mark Herzog, but does a very good job of keeping it around. And this is where Talladega gets dangerous. Everybody's starting to get mixed up. Everybody's starting to get a little rowdy. You've got that outside line starting to form. You've got outside, middle, inside line. This is where 3 wide starts to set up. And if one person has a little bit loose, something happens, the air hits the car the wrong way, they will lose out. And that is where the wrecks start to occur. So, lap 13, you don't want to use your 1 fast repair on lap 13, but watch the 57 there. He got a little bit high. He got close. He caught it. He brought it back down, but that is the things you've got to think about when you're thinking about taking the pack 3 wide. You have to think, who are the guys in the middle? Who's the guys on the inside? Can I trust them? And you can see there, Mr. Barton is really, really pushing the envelope on that outside line. I mean, look at him. He's about to get the lead here on lap 14 to 69.
Yeah, and to be honest, he's run that outside line for a few laps, so he knows where his steering capability's got to be. He knows where not to oversteer. He knows where he's not going to come down on top of people. So for me, we're watching great racing from a great bunch of drivers, and that is your education here as well. If you've not watched the triple bypass race, well, you're watching it now because you're 3 wide. You've got 3 banks of 3, and there is not one remote issue. Whereas you're sat back in an official by now. Good night, Vienna. Game over. You are waiting there as well. So, yeah, for me, ideal racing for an ideal series, and if they're going to push 3 wide, hey, I'm not going to stop them.
These guys know what they're doing. They know what they need to do to get the job done, and that's the thing is, we can talk about it's a little too early to go 3 wide, but these guys are going to do it if they know they can do it and do it well. And Talladega is a track that facilitates it. And look at that. Look at that number 27. Look at Mr. Kyle Gresh. He's going to go that outside line. He hangs Mr. Goff in the 00 out to dry. And he knows that outside line has pace. He's going to hook up there with Mr. Dustin Barton, and they are going to try to run that outside line around. The lower line is starting to get a run, but there's too much of a gap here, and they're going to start to slide back. And these are the things that if you're running an iRacing, you really, really learn from leagues. This is why I love watching leagues run super speedway races, because you get to see all the things that these drivers do, and you get to learn the thought process that you really don't develop in officials because you're running cautions every 5 laps.
Yeah. And that was me and my Daytona 500 experience, or my 80-lap Atlanta experience the other day. To be fair, where we had 6 cautions and we're only on lap 13, it was quite awful, to be honest. It took us a good old while, about an hour and 35 minutes to do 80 laps. It was absolutely atrocious. But this is everything you'll learn and everything you'll pick up. If you want to learn to drive NASCAR, you've got to learn to do 2 things. A, learn how to drive in a straight line and stay on your line. B, make sure that you're not trying to do anything stupid. Like, if you're going to throw a block, you've got loads of room, go and throw it. But make sure you're not going to take anybody out in the process, because otherwise you could be in deep duties here with everybody, and your name might not be the best name in the Discord.
Yeah, and that is that's a lesson hard learned. That is a lesson you don't want to learn, and when you do learn it, it's a bad day. But that outside line has kind of stalled their momentum, and as I say that, they get rolling again. There we go. Come on, Gresh. Move it forward here. He's around the outside of the 00, but that number 24, Matt Parasini, has a good run. That inside line has given him just enough ahead, and that middle and high line are kind of stalling there with Benson. I don't know if that was just a backstretch issue, because now, again, as soon as I say something, they go and prove me wrong, and here we go. Around the outside, Kyle Gresh is going to try to get the lead here as they hit the line. And again, remember that line is a little bit further back, so as they cross the line, it is a new leader, Kyle Gresh, here on lap 18.
Yeah, but for how long? Well, I can tell you that's not going to be too long, because John Barton's in the wall. He is in the wall there as well. So is Hanlon. So is Barton. No caution because they didn't spin and stop everyone. Jaden Henry managed to get through, I believe. No, it wasn't. It was Keith Hanlon, Mike Weeder, who managed to get through with John Barton as well. Derek Catt motoring along. So they've dropped 3 out of the pack, and they're still free. Oh, man, really?
And there's the caution. Caution thrown.
That was late. Should have just let it play out. You can't give them a caution for that.
Yeah,
they were already running. They were already up and running. Keith Hanlon, John Barton, Mike Weeder. Derek Catt was back onto the pack. A little bit. That was a little bit soft there, I'm afraid.
Yeah, but that's the thing with Super Speedway. I think if they didn't throw the caution there, it's going to cause the issue where then you go from 21 drivers through, you'd only have about 15 drivers in the pack, and they'd be kind of hung out to dry. Their race is done. It gives everyone a little bit of a chance to get going. And I will say, just kind of looking at that, we talked about it, but that is what happens when you've got that very, very close pack. If somebody gets a little out of shape, it can take out a few guys really quick. Now, it looks like everybody mostly got away with that, except for it looked like Derek Catt had some really big damage there on the front end of his car. I couldn't tell, though, from the angles we had, but it seemed like he had a little bit of damage there. Possibly it might have been John Barton. One of the guys there had a pretty crunched in front nose, but it looks like everybody's back out and going. Nothing bad. Everybody can kind of pit in. If anyone did have big damage, they can go ahead and get that fast repair. Who is that right behind there? There we go. That's the damage I'm looking for. Mike Weeder.
Yeah.
So he is very thankful for this.
Yeah. Do they pit? Yes, they do, Chris. Do they have a fast repair? Yes, they have one. But we are already on lap 19. They've still got 50 to go. So do they really want to use it now? Well, I think for Weeder he's going to have to. But everybody else is probably going to come in anyway. It's a full field into the pits. The only one that might not go in may be Jaden Henry. Unless all of a sudden he's going to sit back and think, actually, bargain, I'm going to get my lap back here and go in a minute. Weeder better use it. Yeah, I think Weeder needs it, dude. He's going to come with a shiny car in a minute as well. But this is one of the things we talk about within iRacing when we talk about the real world simulation effect. Obviously, don't forget, guys, as well, I will say this now, and I'm a master of my own words of advice here. On Wednesday, if you are looking to download the update, I think they're not going to be done in time by about 7 or 8 o'clock in the evening BST, which puts you about 2 o'clock in the afternoon Eastern. Set up your PC to download the update, because with the new Tempest software, the new UI software, the new tracks and cars that's coming in, it's going to be massive. And if, like me, you live out in the middle of the country and you've got pigeon internet, we need to set mine up about 6 hours before I actually need it, because I might just get the updates done in time.
You know, I've been seeing a lot of videos of that Tempest weather software, and I'm so excited to see that roll in. Especially, I was watching a video today where a guy was driving Brands Hatch, and he was showing off the Tempest software because iRacing gave an early build. And he's a real life race car driver, but he was driving in the sim, and he was like, you know, in real life, this is how we do the line, and even the AI, like they've even programmed their AI that you practice with to hunt the grip and do everything. I think that Tempest change is going to be huge coming up, and it's going to be massive. I'm scared to know how big that update's going to be. Even me with fiber optic internet, I am scared for what that's going to do.
What do you think it's going to be?
I don't really know. I mean, I've seen iRacing have several gig updates, but this is essentially like an overhaul of UI and everything from what I've seen. 5 gigs?
At least.
Maybe 10?
Yep, it wouldn't shock me or surprise me in any shape or form. All I will say is just make sure that you have got your PC on ready, because you're gonna need it. Let's just put it this way. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting one, I think, and one that everybody's going to come out and have a play with and come up to various conclusions of it and what it's going to do and how is it going to work and everything else. And the thing for me, I think you'll find a lot of people who are scared of it. Right, because some people have come out and said, I don't think this is going to work and everything else. Well, I reckon it will work, and I think it's going to work well. The people that are scared may be the people that might need to go out and practice a little bit more, right? Because the last thing you want to do is come into a wet race and not have anything to do with it, you know, and not know what you're doing. Put the practice in like everybody else who sets faster lap times than you. They practice 5 days a week and then they'll official over the weekend. That's how it works.
Yep. They call rain the best equalizer that exists in racing because it does genuinely show that difference in who's put in the work, the time, and understands their car and who doesn't. And I'm really, really excited. Of course, we're not going to see it in NASCAR, but I'm really excited to see what happens with, you know, especially like the Wednesday night series with the 86s. I'm excited to see what Triple Bypass does with that. Because the thing is, with it, you can program in the rain, and it could be raining on turn 2 of a circuit and not raining in other areas. The rain, from what I understand, will move in and out. There's a full weather radar where you can watch pockets of rain move in and out. So it could be raining on one half of the circuit and not the other half. And then you get that fun action of, well, it's raining, you know, for part of the circuit. What do I do here? But it's, you know, drying out for the other part. What do I need to do? And as the pace car is pulling in, I have to ask James, is that something that we're really, really ready to see?
Yes, we need it. Everybody's been crying, literal physical tears of pain wanting this update. They wanted rain for ages. It got delayed. It was supposed to come out November last year. It got delayed, but now we're going to be back up and running green here as well as these guys set on their way with their 2 banks of 2. Thankfully, only 2 at the moment, and I'm sure we might end up 3 at some point. But they've been crying and crying and crying for rain. Obviously, we're not going to see it in Gen 4s. Obviously, we're not going to see it in NASCAR. We're not going to see it in certain car models at the moment as well. There's only about 5 cars possibly that would have it. So I think at the end of the day, it's needed. Are people going to love it? Nope. Does it need to go across all classes? Absolutely. And is it going across all classes? Absolutely, because I believe the Formula Ford is going to have it, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, that is a rookie car.
It is. They're gonna throw the rookies out to dry, and I cannot wait to see. I can't wait till I jump in a race and I see these people in the rain and I get to just enjoy it. I'll take my free wins every day of the week just from people not knowing how to drive in the rain. I'm fine with it.
Because they don't extend the braking points. They don't realize that actually I've got to extend it by 10, 15, 20 meters. So where you're at the 50, you need to brake at the 100 in the wet. You know what I mean? So there we go. C. Benson. Now, you told me your name the other day. Cora? Why have I got Cora? Coral? Caroline? Catherine? I can't remember what it was, Brad. Can you?
I do not remember. I know.
The thing is, I got a yes, and I said 4 names. Cora, come on! I may be old,
James.
but I still got the memory. Only just, mind you, only just. Welcome in, Cora. Thank you so much for that. So, there we go. iRacing in 7 miles. Cheers! Yeah, there we go. But Mr. Benson there as well. So, yeah. Great racing going on at the moment here. 24 of 69. Still double lining it. Nice try, James. Hey, I got it right. I said Cora the first time. And then I added Coral, Catherine, and the other one. I can't remember what else to say. But look, I tried. I got it right first time, so that's fine.
Yeah, I think you're fine. You got it right the first time. I'm going to give you credit on that one.
Yeah, you need to. I've had a very long day, Cora. It's like killing me. Oh, dearie me. But there we go. 24 of 69 of the anniversary celebration here as well. Don't forget today's sponsor is Mr. Jason Benson in that 42 machine. Does Cora know about it? Well, she does now. So there we go. Cora in the 42. Jason is the sponsor of today's race as well. Much love to him for doing that. Glad to hear you, James. Thank you very much.
You know, I'll give that one to you because I was very happy to see it. Now, Jason Sticky Fingers Benson.
There's a story there. I'm sure Brian Cooper has got a story, and I believe that's Brian under the LOL banner. He's going to have a story to tell us, I'm sure, at some point, like Matt P. Diddy Perezzini. So, you know, see what goes on here as these guys are battling it out once again as well. And I will say that you've got to look at some of the brightly coloured amazing liveries that we've got going on here today as well. Like I Want to Go Fast here by Cameron Kane, who, well, decided that he wanted to join my back end the other day. So there we go. Born on a Date on the right hand side there as well. Now I want to pick up on the 824 of John Sinew. Maybe not.
I think it's Sinew.
Sinew there as well. Beltway Coffee. Look at that. It looks absolutely incredible. I do love some liveries that these guys are putting on. They look absolutely amazing. So fair play to all of you for doing that one and making the effort. It looks absolutely incredible here as well. So yes, great action kicking off at the moment.
Go ahead and tell you my favorite livery. It's probably that number 3 car. Who is that running that livery? The number 3. Let's go.
Why do you like it? It's plain black.
It is not plain black.
Well, it's got little bits of orange on it. Sorry.
Look at the hood. Look at the hood, and I'll leave it there.
Oh.
There we go.
Raise hell, praise dial. Okay, I'll give you that one. Fair play.
I mean, it's a Talladega. It's a Talladega classic livery. The Grippo's car underneath. These guys heard Talladega, and they went all out for it. And not just Talladega Nights.
Yeah, Derek Cat Turtle's livery does look awesome as well. So I'm not going to lie, these guys are really putting it in here with some of their livery designs. However, Cora, tell Jason to get on it, deal, and it's a bit soft here. Come on. He's got a plain blue and white thing. So come on, sort him out, Cora. Tell him he's got to jazz it up. I want pinks, I want bright greens, I want an Archimenard's scheme with their bright yellow, and just let him know he's got to update it.
I really like the Cosmic Brownies one.
So there we go. Stay Puffed it's got on the back of Benson's car there as well. So yeah, 28 to 69, Brad.
28 to 69. I'll tell you what, these guys every week show up and show out. They show off really good liveries. They show off really clean racing. It makes our life easy, but at the same time, it's one of those, like, we're like 28 to 69 here, and the guys' cars look really good, and it's kind of just everybody's handling single file here and relaxed. Who's going to be the first one to take it 3 wide here?
I don't know. I do love the fact that Brian is in YouTube chat telling Cora to go and tell Jason to do something, because Brian's there. Tell Jason to watch out for Mark Herzog, that is, in the 57. He's hanging out and killing the line there as well. So, well, he's definitely killed the line now, unfortunately, because there isn't a line for Mark to get involved with. So maybe Mark's just done the damage himself, as they do take it 3 wide here in the middle of the lap 29. And we're already looking 3 wide with JC John Campbell at the front.
JC John Campbell up here at the front, and now it is actually Mr. Benson who has found his way up to the front, and he's watching out for JC there behind. Behind him, you've got Alex Goff there in that 00, and then behind that, you have Mr. Cameron Kane, who is just trying to hold on. Or sorry, he's in front there. Alex Goff trying to hang out. Everybody is just, at this point, things have spread out a little bit, but everybody's still just trying to survive. We're trying to make it through the laps. We're trying to make it through. We're trying to get all the way to the end, and everybody wants to be there when it counts. We talk about, when do you make the move? What do you do? Well, when there's just a few laps to go, you're going to want to be the one in the mix to try to throw your way forward and catch that green or that checkered flag all the way through. And if it goes green to the end, you may be in trouble if you're not sticking with that pack and keeping things going. Again, it seems like most people are right here in the mix, and it is a little bit of a case of survival just for everyone.
Yeah, it is. But I think the fact that the survival is taking place, and you can see from the likes of Perezzini, who's lost out there. I believe there probably was an incident involving Mark Herzog, who's definitely lost out on that one as well, because we saw Herzog on board with him there at that time, and he just lost a bunch of positions. But this is what I mean. Cameron Kane up 20 places and is now sitting in front. Qualifying irrelevant when it comes to super speedways and NASCARs.
It truly is irrelevant. It is just a case of just trying to make it to the end and be there when it counts. Because if you're just right there and you can be close at the end and try to make it count, I mean, you can do amazing things when it goes down. There's always the conversation of, well, where do you want to be near the end? What position do you want to be in when there's 10 to go, when there's 5 to go? Do you want to be P1? Do you want to be P3? Do you want to be the third guy in line? And we can debate that all day. I can sit here and argue a million ways over why I want to be first, why I want to be second, why I want to be third. But at the end of the day, you have to make it that far. You just have to make it there. And these guys are doing amazing at holding it together and trying to make it there. And we're seeing the pack shuffle a bit. We're seeing things move around a bit, but these guys are showing clean, consistent racing all the way through. Now that 824 of Sinew is up front, he's going to try to hold it as long as he can, but at some point he has to understand he is going to fall back. He's going to drop back a bit. The pack's going to start overtaking him, but you can't get discouraged. Again, we've got a long way to go in this race.
Exactly. It's the reaction that you have to losing places is one of the biggest things that people don't get, right? You're looking at some people and their reaction is, oh my God, I've got to throw a block at every opportunity they have. When really, they just need to sit there and chill a little bit. Do you know what I mean? So it's going to be very, very interesting to see what they do, and very, very interesting to see how they go about it, because it's all that sheer panic is the thing that is probably going to cause them the problem. Yeah,
and what you cannot afford to do in a long race like this is panic. You cannot have those moments of, oh gosh, oh no, what do I do? You just need to sit and you need to go. I mean, it's not a big deal. If you're still with the pack, you still have a chance. If it's 2 laps to go and you're the last person in the pack, you've still got a chance. It may not be as big of a chance, but you could still have a chance. And you just need to kind of hang out and relax and breathe. And I think that's the big thing that people miss out on, is they need to just breathe.
Yep, absolutely. It's not about how you do in this section of the race. And I think that's the thing with a lot of racing that people don't quite understand. With NASCAR, there's all of these things to take into consideration: tires, fuel saving, where you are placing the car, making sure you're going to go high, making sure you're going to go low, making sure that you've got to sit there and move with the line. If your line goes up and they're quicker, then go up with your line. You want to be the first or second person or third person. You don't want to be the last person to move to the outside line. And once by that point you're down in 8th or 9th place. You've got to make sure you're in there all the time. If you want to stay up front, you've got to be in the battle. Benson definitely not relaxed. Go and tell him James said chill out. He's got ages yet. He don't even have to go anywhere. Run the bottom line, but stay behind John Sinew and just chill. Tell him to chill. You know what I mean? Take him in a whiskey or a bud or whatever.
And I do think if these guys just chill for a little bit, it will be a little bit easier for them. There's nothing that tells me these guys aren't just going to relax. They're race car drivers. It's one thing for me to say for them to relax. It's another thing for them to actually do it. But just kind of watch these guys. If you're wondering how to run super speedway racing, watching these guys is a good way to do it, because you're going to see them do different things, and you can think, well, why did they do that? And then, we'll explain, and it'll make your life a little bit easier as we go through.
Yeah, I think by the time, if you got to 60 and you're still not nowhere near the front, then I would probably hit a little bit of the half-heartedly panic button. But you've got to do and just sit and chill and just say, I'm here. I'm at the front. I'm in the front too. The outside line's not really getting a run. They're a little bit more fractured, to be honest, as well. You've got Cameron Kane's out there, Hyatt's out there. You've got Harmon's out there. There's a gap before you get into the next one as well. So you've got to think that, why am I panicking? I'm not going to go anywhere faster than where I am at the moment, as long as I stay behind the car in front. And that's the thing, you've got to make sure you're staying. Even now, even if Kane dropped down, really, just all it needs is JC to budge up just a little bit, and then their line will start going back full pace again. And there you go. JC pulled it in just a little bit. Their line started up in the pace. Crutchley's now coming in on the back as well. Oh, Nodge is coming in. Yeah, Crutchley in the 48 there as well. So all they've got to do is that inside line have just got to run nose to bumper, and that outside line ain't going to get a chance.
Yeah, and honestly, running that inside to outside line is not that bad to do. And, again, you might be sitting here looking and you're kind of thinking like, well, what if? The thing is, it's such a long race. These guys can just relax. And as long as they stay relaxed, they hit their marks and they do what they need to do, they're going to make it to the end here. And as we cross the line, it's still 2x2. These guys are still just holding on to the pack. They're still just nice and relaxed. I mean, I love this racing. Like, people will look at this racing and say, this is kind of boring. I want to see action. I want to see this. I want to see that. I'm enjoying this. I enjoy it when the guys just go and run a nice, long, clean, relaxed race without a lot of issues, without anything crazy. One wreck doesn't hurt anyone, but as these guys continue to go, it's going to be great. Now, granted, my timing screen is also lighting up left and right, telling me someone's passed someone every millisecond. So,
that's the thing. It does, because you end up looking where they're just going the nose in front. They've passed them. Where you then coming from a nose behind, you've passed him, and really you haven't gone anywhere. So at the end of the day, you've got to think of the situation of, what are you going to do? What are you going to do right now? Right now, you're trying to knock off at least another 20 laps, because you don't want to get stuck. You don't want to get stuck and cause yourself dramas. Look down here. Two people that were at the front, Berrettini and Harcum, come out of the pits after the yellow flag, nowhere to be seen. It's like, poof, they're Harry Potter, they've gone. Herzog driving around on his own. He might as well just pull it up, wait for the pack to catch up, and then start driving again to try and hang on to the pack. Because at the moment, he's nowhere to be seen. Barton's in the middle. He's at the back. He's in 21st. He's just about to be lapped as well. So you've got to think, okay, I'm not that person, so I'm just going to sit here and do that for 29 laps. I've seen people bean it, mate, after, going 3 wide into turn 1 on lap 1 because they thought it was a good idea, and you've got one corner and you've got a caution. It's like, how? Why? Why did you want to do that? Do you know what I mean? So I think overall, you've got to be able to use your brain.
I agree. And here's the thing. Again, I said this earlier in the broadcast. I say it every single time I commentate. You don't win a race on lap 1. You don't win a race on lap 2. You don't win a race on lap 10. You don't win a race on lap 65. It's lap 69 of 69 is where you're going to win when you see that checkered flag come across. So anything that happens before then is irrelevant. You need to make it to the end.
Yeah, absolutely. I've started something rather random in chat, guys, as well, partly because I was pushing buttons, trying to work out to do something, and it started a Q&A. So if there's any questions that you want to ask us here as well, it can be anything. I don't know, what's my shoe size? Well, I'm a size 8. 42. I don't know what that is in American. But anything random for the next few laps here, because clearly I've hit the wrong button. So let me know if there's anything you want answered here as well. So that would be great if you do want to get yourself involved in that one, because that would be quite funny, to be honest. I haven't done a Q&A forever. So just anything you want to know, let us know there as well, and we will answer it for you where we can. We'll do that for about another 5 laps before we get into the nitty-gritty as we're coming there as well.
Yeah, we're coming across here. The nitty-gritty is where things are going to get real fun. Again, we asked the questions of at what point do these guys need to go through, and do they need to start making the dodges? Do they need to start making the decision? I'm not a good answer. We're lap 42 to 69 here, and I would say lap 60 is really where I think these guys are going to start pushing it with 9 to go, 59, 10 to go. I think that's when we're going to start seeing 3 wide, 4 wide, racy, bumping, rubbing. And remember, rubbing's racing. We're at Talladega. These guys that's where we're really, really going to see the action hit. So at this point for these guys, it's maintenance. It's a maintenance game for them. It's just, don't cause anything silly to happen and just keep things going as long and as hard as you can.
Yeah, absolutely. I do fully agree with you on that one. And to answer that question, Cora, what is my favorite music? At the moment, I've got it's like a grunge kind of phase going on at the moment. You know, if you've not heard I Want to Be Your Slave, you can listen to something like that as well. Wicked Game Acoustic by Stone Sour. That's kind of what my playlist is consisting of at the moment, is kind of that like grungy kind of music. I think that's where I'm at the moment. But to be honest, I've listened to rap, reggae, Frank Sinatra, all sorts, to be honest.
Yeah, to answer that question, for me, I literally listen to everything. Like, I've been on sort of a similar bandwidth as you lately, James, but I mean, like, I had an orchestra concert this afternoon. I can sit down and listen to hip hop. I can go and listen to classics. I mean, it genuinely just depends on the day, on the mood, on what I'm doing for what I listen to.
Yeah, exactly. And to be honest, I've got an old style record player behind me, a vinyl record player, and I will sit there and I've got Miles Davis LPs. So I will sit there and listen to a bit of jazz, depending on where I'm at in my work day, on what my schedule is bringing me. So, yeah, it's varied. What about yourself, Cora? What do you like listening to, or are you a depending on the mood kind of person?
Benson loves old vinyls. Interesting. Who is that hanging out to dry in the middle? Never mind. They have help, but who was that? That was the Cougar car. That was Cameron Kane that was there in the mix.
Yeah. So yeah, Queen Bowie Stones. Queen, David Bowie and Rolling Stones. Hold on a minute. That must put you in an age bracket that I probably wasn't sure you were. To be fair.
Interesting.
There we go. But yeah, let's get back to the action here as well on lap 45 of 69 now. We're just trying to we've got some technical issues between us here as well, where all of a sudden there we go, the overlay's now back up. 24 to go. We've only had one caution, and I don't even know if I want to call that a caution, to be honest. I think it's more of a soft marshmallow to bank the field back up, because obviously we know a couple of people have got spread out, but I think that caution was a little bit soft, to be honest.
Yeah, it's one of those we could have done without it. I get why they threw it again, because Talladega super speedway pack, but it kind of I think we would have been okay without it. Right. Another one probably would have came up later.
It was soft. It was a soft one. So yeah, it was definitely a soft one. But we won't say anything or do arguments about it there as well. But before I end up getting myself in more trouble, Jason Benson, John Campbell, Cameron Kane, and Alex Goff. sitting out the front there as well. Right, now I know what this Q&A bit did. I'm going to end this Q&A a minute, guys, as well, because now I know that don't ever start a Q&A unless you're really going to just sit down and have a talking broadcast, I guess, or whatever it is they do. What do they call it? I'm sure it's got a name, hasn't it, as well?
I feel like it does, but I can't think of it off the top of my head, so
no, I don't know.
I'm probably not the one to ask.
No, 22 to go with the anniversary celebration 69. They're vlogging? I don't know, Brian. I think is it the name for it, isn't it? It's cool. I'm too old to worry about that. So there we go. But yeah, still great action taking place as well. You can see Ben Harkham has got a little bit of help from Perezzini now. John Barton and Mark Herzog are in that mid-pack there as well, and John Campbell is there as well. Me neither. That's something I'm not young enough to know what. Yeah, there is a name for it, and I can't think. When I used to stream not many years ago, well, probably many years ago as well, it always had a name, and I can't never remember what it was called. It was something weird where you just sit down and people ask you questions all day about what your, I don't know, what your shoe size is. It's irrelevant in the concept, I don't know. But yeah, now I know what, when it says start a Q&A, I know what the button does, so that's always good. As these guys are shuffling around, 21 to go. We're getting into that nitty-gritty, Brad. What's going to happen?
Yeah, this is the part. This is the part where I kind of sit back a little bit from my computer screen. This is where I get a little bit nervous as these guys go. We already see that 117 to John Campbell and that 00 of Alex Goff. I've seen those bumpers tap a couple of times down that back straight and a couple of times across these front straights. So they're getting antsy. They're starting to get going. They want to do what they can to keep that pace ahead and keep ahead of that outside line. But it's just so... Oh, it's dangerous. It's one wrong bump, one wrong move, and these guys are going to be in trouble as we continue down the field and around. And again, these guys are just, they are the epitome of clean racing, other than that one caution.
Which was
and even then, right, and just watching, I mean, this could be a zero caution race. If it hadn't have been a called caution, this would be a zero caution race.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going 195 miles an hour at the moment as well. And you can see from Cameron Kane's perspective, he knows when to bump Jason in front. He knows when to back away from him. He knows when to get near him. You know, you don't bump in a corner. I'm English, and I know that, okay? Like, that's the thing. And it's just, believe it or not, the amount of people that don't know the rules of general NASCAR rules. I was in a race the other day, and a guy even asked, guys, what does GWC mean? And at that moment, I knew I was in trouble, right? Because you know, when you can't figure out what green, white checker is, you know you're in trouble as well. And then I had a horrible experience with somebody who was trying to get me banned because apparently I wasn't close enough to the pace car on a pace lap. Like, what? He was like, you're breaking the iRacing sporting code by not going close enough. I said, dude, we're going round again. Like, I've got a whole opportunity to get close to the pace car if I need to. I don't need to here when the pace... And I said, if you even knew the rules, I could just hang you out to dry on the whole outside line here, mate, at the moment. Because I'm sitting in second. I said, I could just hang you all out. There's no rules that says I have to bolt when the pace car goes or when the leader goes. I said, so, you know, shush.
I love it when people try to play rules admin and they don't know the rules. That's always the most fun. It's just... Sometimes it's better for people to just sit back and race and just enjoy your time. And I think that's the thing with sim racing, is some people take this way too seriously. And oh, we're 3 wide out of nowhere. That's a scary moment to see a car on the outside. The pack is closing up. As we're sitting here, they have decided, all right, it's time to go. 18 to go, and they're going to start spicing things up for us here, James. Look at this side draft, bump draft. Go ahead. Who will come out at the end? Slaughter's on the outside there, and he's got Hyatt for help in the middle. You've got Benson, who's running around with Mr. Cougar there of Kane, and down on the inside, it is going to be Campbell and Goff. So, which line do you want to be in, James? You want to be top, middle, bottom line? Where are we looking if you were in this race right now?
Top.
You like the high line?
Yeah, I would. The reason I would want to be on the high line is if anything happens to me, I've generally got an opportunity to get out of the way. The wall, you can run a wall, but if you're in the bottom and somebody comes from the top down, you're not going to get an opportunity to move out of the way. That's the thing. So I think for me, I would rather be the top, because if I got pushed into the wall, then I would at least be able to either wall run it and chastain it, or I would be able to kind of try and move it away. But what I wouldn't be doing if I was running the top line about now as well is, as Slaughter is, you see he's just that little bit further back. He's that little bit further back from the front. I would want to be right at the front, because if any contact happened in the middle of that pack, I know I should be able to escape it.
Yeah, it's. I'm with you there. I'd want to be top or middle. I'd want to be high line or mid line.
But you've got to be at the front. You'd have to be at the front about now, because you only need, for instance, John here in the 824, to get bumped by Weeder behind, and depending on which side he bumps is obviously dependent if he's going to go left or right, right? You know, you put pressure on one side, that's going to dig the tyre in, the grip's going to kick in, the car's going to shoot that way. So I would want to be just a little bit away from this chaos, a little bit away from it, running the high line, be a Jeff Slaughter, and keep it out the way. And for Benson, you need to do something fast, because you are getting hung out to dry faster than my missus hanging out a pair of my trousers right about now, because he got left in that middle line.
Well, and that's the dangerous thing too about when it goes 3 wide. Whenever everybody decides they're done being 3 wide, if you're left, I mean, you're in trouble and you're done for. Thankfully, he's got Mr. John Sinew there for help. He's trying to help him push forward, but now he needs to slot that high line before somebody else can. So the guys decided 3 wide for a few laps. They wanted to see where things were, and now we're back into that double file racing, but things are just uncoordinated right now. It's nobody knows who's in what line. Nobody knows who's where. They're just, this is when wrecks happen.
Yeah, it's a 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle chucked on the table, and you're hoping to find the right bit, because this is literally, they've settled in now, but at that moment there, they were all just jostling and jiggling around, and, you know, nobody really knew what was going on. And at the moment, we're led by an Australian with JC John Campbell. Go, JC.
JC with the Krispy Kreme is sending it forward with some cosmic brownies as an assistant there. That, you know, that doesn't sound like a bad little snack. A donut with a brownie, I wouldn't mind that. Or, here's a thought, a brownie-flavored donut. Now we're talking.
Or you have brownies and ice cream. Heated donut. Heated brownie with ice cream.
That sounds really good. I have a feeling that James is going to be going to find a nice little...
James is definitely not this time of night, mate. James is going to bed.
What, 4 a.m. for you, I believe, right now?
3 at the moment.
Okay, well, I was close enough.
I'll give you that, yeah.
Yeah. They're still side by side, James. They're still... They got back in their groove. They went from that 3 wide to that chaos, and now we're back in that groove of 2 wide with just a handful of laps to go. 13 to go. I mean, oh, and there goes JC off into the wall. Oh, I thought he was going to save it, and he didn't. But I tell you what, I looked away for a millisecond.
Do you know why? Because look at where the bump came from the 00.
In the exit.
In the exit. He didn't even give him time to settle in. And you can see it there, the 00 of Alex Goff caught him wrong. And that's the problem. You can't be catching him wrong at that point. He's going to put the left bumper down. He's hitting left-sided, which is going to dig in the left tyre. And he's going to grip and go to the left-hand side, which is what he did do. Can't bump coming out the exit. Never going to work. But they didn't call a caution. And why not? Because he wasn't on the racing line.
Yep, 12 to go here, and this is where things start to get a little exciting and a little hairy. And you see some people in the pits here. We're going to have some splash and goes. And Kyle Gresh, slow that car down, buddy. And he didn't.
Oh, Slaughter did the same. Oh, no, talk about unsafe pit entry. So there you go. On that one, people diving into the pits. Gretsch, Harmer, Weeder, Kane, and Slaughter. Now we've got the runners, Barton, Hanlon, Benson, Crutchley, Goff. So, and here comes the 55 of Keith Hanlon as well. How far are these guys going to go on this set of tyres that they've got at the moment? FYI, Benson's birthday is Tuesday. Oh, how old is he going to be? You've got to tell us now. You can't just not. Because, you know, that's like dangling a carrot and never feeding a donkey.
Oh, Benson. It's going to be good to know.
43.
There's a lap down car in the mix here.
Yes, you have. But you've got Mark Herzog in the 57 In-N-Out Burger machine.
Let's see here. And it looks like you've got Barton up there on the high line, too, who's down a lap.
Yeah. They're just chilling. They're getting their laps back. Come on. I'm not going to rant about blue flags in NASCAR, bro, because it don't happen, does it? You know what I mean? Let's be real. It's just other series. Their tyres will last the whole race. I believe, yeah, I think you're right as well. And why didn't that get a caution? Because he wasn't on the racing line. He was on the inside line, but there was enough run out that we're never going to get a caution on the unsafe pit entry either, because that would have copped a penalty. And as they're coming down the back straight, he bumped him coming out too, which sent him into that big, long, wide runoff on the left-hand side. Because he was out of the way, because he was nowhere near where he should have been, nowhere near any issues, they were never ever going to throw a caution. So yeah, just some insights there from an Englishman commentating on NASCAR.
An Englishman on NASCAR, absolutely love it. And you can see there, as we ran around coming into one, you could see Mr. JC John Campbell coming out of the pits there, and he is going to be down a handful of laps. He was a front runner for a majority of this race, but with 9 to go, it looks like his race will be relegated to at least P21. Several cars have been in the pits here for splash and dashes, but we are getting going here with 9 to go, and at the moment...
Oh, they've got to decide, sorry. They've got to decide, because you've got the 55 here as well, which is Hanlon leading the pack away. Just there at the bottom of your screen, you can see Perezzini, I believe it is it Perezzini and Harcum? No, it's Harcum on his own. Who is that? There's somebody nestled at the bottom that they're just coming round to lap now as well. That's the 404 machine. That's Carson Caitlin and the number 3 of Ryan Hyatt. So they sent them the high line. The inside didn't even pull up and let them go on the pull up there and leave them the inside line. They've sent them the long way round and said, sorry guys, we ain't moving. We're trying to hang on to you here now as well. So we're going to latch into this action and try and make sure that we can try and stay with you to try and get some of our laps back as well. So anything can happen going into the final 8.
Yeah, 8 to go here, and who's risking it on fuel? Who's going to dash and go? I was kind of shocked to see so many cars into the pits right then. I didn't really expect it, but you know, running green this long, they are going to need some fuel. 69 laps is a long way to go here, so I don't know exactly. I don't know what's happening. This is so weird.
They did pit on. When you're saying they did, a lot of them, remember, they come in right at the beginning for the fluffy caution we had. So a lot of these guys have already probably got enough to get to the end here. Sinew, did you say it was?
Yeah, Sinew, I think.
Sinew, Barton and Hanlon, with Crutchley coming through the middle. They're all diving in as well. Now it's all about who's managed to keep the fuel. 7 to go. You don't want to be doing that with 7 to go.
Yeah, this is the point where things are going to get real hairy. It's 6 to go as they cross the line, and here we go. This is our lead pack coming around here, and this is going to be Mr. Hyatt, the 824 here of, why am I forgetting names?
I don't know.
Oh, Sinew. That's who I'm looking at. Yeah, there we go. And then Caitlin's there. Herzog is there. These guys are, you know, running in decent positions. They're good set. We just need to survive 6 more laps here. But as everybody starts coming back out of the pits, everybody's going to start getting back together. This is where things are going to start getting very, very, very hairy. And if you're somebody like Mr. the Naj Crutchley, you're not in a bad position. And as I say that, I do the classic thing where I say it and then they do something different. So into the pits they go.
Yeah, he's into the pits. Now we've just got certain people at the front there as well who have not gone in. Sinew is being pushed along, mind you, by the back markers of Caitlin and Ryan Hyatt in that number 3 machine. So whether or not Sinew is going to go in now this lap, or if he's going to try and hang this out for another 5.
Yeah, and if Sinew goes in this lap, he's had the help the whole way through, so he might be in a decent spot. But you can see there he is kind of in the mid-line, letting the back markers ahead of him. So I think he has to go in this lap if he's going to go in. 5 to go here. I would think he's going to have to do the splash and dash now and get in, get out, because the pack's going to start getting back together behind him. There it is. He's in. Good call. Good call if you're going to go in.
Yeah, now Crutchley's come out the other side, and he's now going to set on his way. He should come out in second, with Barton coming out in third. Hanlon, Ward, Fisher, Harmon, Gretchen, Benson there as well. And the thing is, they've all come out and they've all come in on their Todd. So none of them are really succeeding from the draft at the moment, apart from Dustin Barton and Keith Hanlon. Crutchy's riding solo. He's getting a push from Herzog, mind you, at this moment in time. And then you've got Cole, I think it's Harmon, McGretch, Ward, Fisher. They're not too far back. And then you've got Benson, who's got Caitlin Hyatt, Cat, not too far back as well. So, yeah, could be a bit of an issue unless they can get it grouped back up again with 4 to go.
Yeah, this is a very, very unusual issue to have at Talladega. It's very, very rare to see the whole field split up the way they have and be so separated out. But now that they're back kind of where they're at, and you can see just on the track map just how spread out they are. It's so separated. And this isn't something that is normal. But if these guys here in the middle start to group back up, which it looks like they are, they can get their run back on these top 3 and start to try to make a move forward. It's not impossible for them to start running up, and I think that is what we're seeing now here is you watch Naj Crutchley get on the back of Hanlon and Barton here.
Yeah, I wonder what Herzog's going to do here. I wonder what Herzog, are you going to follow him out? Because they had such a run on them bottom 2, but they were so close together. They were literally carrying an insurmountable overspeed compared to what they had here. So, you know, it's got to be a little bit careful, but are they going to be able to run it? And is this going to come? Is our winner going to come from the front of these 4 with 3 laps to go?
Well, and then remember, Herzog is a lap down, so what Herzog wants to do is he wants to get around these guys. He wants to get his lap back if he can, but he's just going to kind of settle in. Sometimes if you're a lap down and that lead pack gets around you, you just want to enjoy the racing. You just kind of want to go through. And Miss Benson there asking, is pit strat learned from experience? And the answer is a combination. It's a combination of things that teach you the experience of what you should do. Sometimes some of these guys probably know how long they can make it, but you also do get call-outs in the iRacing service when you're driving that will tell you you've got so many laps remaining. Now, here we go. Pack's forming back up, and if you are Herzog, you are right in the middle of a hornet's nest right now, in the middle of Talladega.
Yeah, you are, but you know the best thing about it is Crutchley is getting some help there. Not much from Barton, but he's getting something because Barton's going to look at trying to make a run as well. You've got the number 6 machine on the outside. I believe that's Weeder. Weeder's a lap down. He's pulling along Cameron Kane, who is also a lap down as well. So out of this one, you've got Crutchley, Barton and Hanlon are your only 3 that are in this fight. Everybody else that's sitting in this fight is giving the help to the people around them, because Weeder's a lap down, Kane's a lap down, Herzog's a lap down as well. So the winner really is only going to technically come from Crutchley, Barton and Hanlon, and they're running line of stand on that bottom row.
I was going to say, if you're Mr. Naj Crutchley there, you are in a beautiful position, and it's where you want to stay, because the fact that nobody else in this group can win except for that 13 and 55, and they're not going to help each other out. So if you were Mr. Naj Crutchley, you really, really want to sit where you're at and just keep those guys behind. That's the 28 of Harmon on the outside with Kyle Gresh coming around. Where did they come from? That is a mile away. Harmon gets loose. He's going high, and here we go. Gresh is going to come around, and there we go. There's a bump with the 13. It's 4 wide. They're 4 wide. They're trying to get out of the lap traffic. Gresh is in the wall.
Oh, Crutch is gone. They're on the final lap as well. It's going to be Crutchley. He's going to take a win. John Crutchley.
Naj Crutchley pulls it around in Dega.
Oh, there you go. Lodge wins in Dega. They were jostling and hustling and bustling with back markers. Gretsch was having a scrap with everybody in the middle, and it ended up going to Crutchley taking that victory, and that is due to the fact of this happening once again. You cannot be doing this. You were battling around, you were going 4 wide, you were jostling in the middle, and it all just went completely wrong here. Look, that's where it all stops. Barton and Gretsch in the wall. Herzog Herzog ends up getting involved somehow. He was just driving along there. Weeder's going on a spin. Cameron Kane says, oh, dearie me, I'm taking to the grass and just produced a lawnmower. Barton's still going round and not actually ever stopping. And he's pirouetting like a ballerina in Swan Lake there. Absolutely amazing job from Dustin Barton. But it doesn't take nothing away from this man, this number 48 machine. John the Nodge Crutchley takes the victory. Oh my God, he is going to be absolutely a nightmare.
You know what? Nodge Crutchley burning it down. It's nice to see the 48 up there in the win. And here's the thing we talked about at the top of the broadcast, too. Up 13 places, started P14, and found his way up into the win. So, again, doesn't matter where you started. It was about where you finished. But I have to feel for those guys. Kyle Gresham, Matt Harmon, they had the run going. They had the run going. But Mr. Nodge Crutchley finding that win because of the misfortune of others, you got to feel good.
Oh, absolutely. He's going to be absolutely ecstatic. Let's have a quick look at the results there for you, Brad, on your screen.
Yeah, Mr. Nodge Crutchley finds his way up into the win. Keith Hanlon up in P2. Kyle Gresham, Matt Harmon, even with that spin in third and fourth. Dustin Barton, P5. John Sinew in P6 after a little bit of time at the lead, a little bit of time in the back. Found his way all the way around and finished it in P6. Ward Fisher, P7. Jason Benson in 8th place. Derek Catt in P9. Jaden Henry in 10th. Alex Goff, P11. Mr. Parasini in P12. Ben Harkin, P13. Ryan Hyatt found a nice 14th place to settle in that number 3 car. Cameron Kane, P15. Carson Caitlin, P16. Mark Herzog, who was running there with that lead pack, thought he was going to have a chance at helping to settle the winner and got caught up in that mess at the end. And P17, Mike Weida as well, suffering the same misfortune. P18, Jeff Slaughter. JC, John Campbell, who was leading for a large chunk of this race. We talked about him a lot at the front of the field. Finds his way in P20. And John Barton, down 7 laps in 21st place.
Yeah, well, we can bring in Mr. John the Nodge Crutchley. Took the win there as well, like a hidden dragon, wasn't he? He was just sneaking his way through. He avoided the carnage on the final lap here, managed to take the victory. And if I remember correctly, Nodge, correct me if I'm wrong here, dear sir, is this your first win on a JPB broadcast? John?
I think he's doing a victory dance right now, if I had to guess.
What actually is he doing right about now? John? Hello? It's me.
Hello. Yes.
Hello. How are you, sir?
I am so stoked right now. I am just beyond words. That was a great race for everybody. I just want to say thank you, everybody, for coming out. I am just so stoked right now.
Yeah, you did an absolutely stellar job. The question I asked before you obviously went here was, is that your first win on a JPB broadcast?
Actually, this is my second one. My first one was last May, I think, at Talladega.
Oh, so both at Dega?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Oh, look at you Dega boy there, eh? Loving Talladega. You avoided the carnage behind you, John, that was taking place. I have to admit, I don't know if you've had a chance to go back and watch the final lap.
I have not.
It was complete and utter carnage. There was people all over the track. You just got your bumper missed by millimeters there as well.
Yeah, I felt it. I felt a little bit behind me. I guess it was just the draft, or I felt a little bit, and I had a little wiggle in the back, but I had my hands on that steering wheel and just kept it straight as possible.
Yeah, you did, and you've come through. Did you come in thinking you're going to win?
Honestly, no, I did not. I told Benson earlier if I had the chance, and if he was in front of me, I was going to just bump draft him at the very end. But unfortunately, I don't know where he finished. But I want to say thank you to Benson for sponsoring the race as well. I really didn't think I was going to win. One is because I pitted so late, and Mark went behind me. We pitted it together, and he came out and he said, "I've got your back," and we just pushed forward.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely vital. I think the problem was on that last pit stop, a lot of people had come in solo and gone out solo, and they were just spread all around the track map, and it was always going to be between you, Hanlon and Harmon, and then Kyle Gretsch come out of nowhere as well. He could come up like a rocket. I swear he Harry Pottered from one side to the other because I didn't ever see him closing up on you until he just appeared there.
Yeah, I looked at my rearview mirror and I saw Harmon and Kyle just coming up fast. And I think there was a lap car at the high side. I think that's what happened with the wreck.
Yeah, they started bouncing off. I think it was Hyatt was up there as well. Barton was up there. There was a couple of others involved. I think out of the 4 cars at one point, there was only 3 of you that could actually win because Mark was obviously a lap down. There was a couple of others a lap down as well. But for you, you've done the victory. You've won at Dega. We've seen you do your donuts. Sky's the limit now, John. What's next on the cards?
Another win on your broadcast. Let's just say that.
That could be why. I tell you what, though, John, I'm not waiting to 2025 in May for you to do it. So can we do it a little bit closer, please?
Yeah, listen, I'll try to work that in my schedule for you there, James.
Yeah, cheers, mate. That's all I want you to do as well. Brian Cooper, mind you, is in YouTube chat as well, and he says the Dega Master Nodge.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Yeah, let's just keep it that way for a while, huh?
Absolutely. I fully agree. But, John, anyone you want to shout out, buddy, as always, before I let you go?
Yes, first, I'd like to give a shout out to Dustin because he pushed me along the way at the end of the race to get me to the win. And definitely want to give a shout out to my wife. She supported me doing this. Love her very much. And I hope that she's awake right now to see this win. And in the triple bypass, this is a wonderful league. It's awesome. We've just a bunch of group of friends, just hanging out, driving. And James and your crew, I want to say thank you as well. You guys have been tremendous.
No worries, buddy. It's been a pleasure, as it always is, mate, as well. Have a good one, Nodge. Enjoy the victory, bud.
Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate it. You too.
No wonder I couldn't remember him winning. It was last blink in May. I can barely remember what I did last week, let alone last May. So there we go. Who else should we grab here, Brad? Who else do you want to have a chat with?
Keith Hanlon around? Let's see if we can bring Keith Hanlon in there in P2.
Go on, and I'll leave you with... No, he's not here. He was here a minute ago, I'm sure. We got Hartman, Herzog, or Jaden Henry, or you can grab Kyle Gretsch, but Gretsch is streaming, or you've got the 88 of Slaughter. Who would you like?
Let's bring in Jeff Slaughter. Let's talk to Jeff Slaughter.
Right.
That'll be an interesting perspective to hear.
Well, there you go. Jeff Slaughter's in the booth for you there, Brad. Crack on.
Hey, Jeff, how you doing today? Man, I think this is the series of the triple bypass guys
They've
surviving Dega.
Yeah, it's survive and drive, and now they've all run to the loo. As well. Jeff,
Probably.
are you here? Jeff? No. Okay, Jeff's not here. Jaden, get your mic unmuted. We'll have a word with Jaden Henry, who in the end was sitting in 10th place there. So great job for him. He's in YouTube chat at the moment. Jaden, get your mic unmuted there. So I want to have a chat in your double. There we go as well. Jaden, welcome in, buddy.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Good. Jaden, why do you sound like you're like literally scared stiff?
Because I am.
Dude, why? What are you scared for?
I don't know, the final lap or something because of wrecking and whatnot.
Oh, mate, you don't even have to worry about that. Look, at the end of the day, right, you were a lap down at one point. You come and finished in the top 10. Overall, what was the racing like outside for you?
Yeah, I screwed up at the beginning. I got myself into the wall, and then I ended up doing it again. I had to go pit for repairs. That put me a lap down, but then there came out the caution, so I got a lucky dog. And then I decided to pit in earlier. I think I was the first one to pit in when everybody started pitting in. That put me another lap down, and then I just drove it from there. Almost got caught up, but then I was able to get in their draft, and then I pulled a move at the end, and I just finished in front of them in the top 10.
Yeah, did you manage to get through the wreck okay? Because there was a big one right at the end.
Yeah, I just saw like a little bit of it on the backstretch, to be honest.
Yeah, there was a lot going on here as well. What was the ambition coming in, Jaden? What was it? What was the thought process coming into Dega? Because we know it's a full flat to the floor, right? Run, get on the car, press your pedal, and away you go. What was it for you?
Just not to kill anybody by pushing them too hard.
Yeah. That's
I
probably,
guess also.
if you'd have pushed Cameron Kane and spun him round, I wouldn't have had no objections to that whatsoever. Right, so I'm just saying, putting that out there as well. After he spun me on a pace lap last week, little rascal. So, Jaden, anyone you want to shout out there as well, just to say thanks for being here with you?
Thanks for my parents because they support me with this, and I like to say thanks to my friend Kalani.
Okay, no worries. Jaden, next time, don't be scared, brother. We don't bite. Have a good one, mate.
Don't drive like my brother.
Sorry?
And don't drive like my brother.
No.
And don't push in the curves.
Have a good one, mate, and we'll catch up with you soon.
You do.
Oh, poor lad. He was scared stiff.
Is it that scary to be on the broadcast?
It might be just with you. I don't know.
It's probably a me issue, yeah. I'll give that one to you,
It's
James.
probably a you. Before we go and scare anybody else now, Brad, let's wrap this up this evening here as well. I think we can safely say we've watched some great racing, great ending, and we only had one caution. One. So
And even then,
it was a soft one.
it could have been no cautions. It could have been.
I agree.
But
I agree.
yeah, one won't hurt.
And whoever threw that, me and you need a word. So there we go. Right, Brad. Over to you for the end.
Yeah, so thank you everybody for joining us on the JP Broadcasting Network here for Triple Bypass Anniversary Celebration 69 that was brought to you by Mr. Jason Benson. A big shout out to Jason Benson for sponsoring today's race. And of course, Triple Bypass always has fun things going on 5 nights a week. So check out their server and their league and their website to get things going. But of course, on the JP Broadcasting Network, always tons of fun races coming up. I believe this was race number 6 today.
It was, yes.
On the JP Broadcasting Network, and plenty of action coming up across the next week. So be sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell, do all of those free things that you can do here on YouTube to help support JP Broadcasting and everything we do here. And James, I tell you what, I can't wait to do this again, but I think you want to get to bed. So on behalf of you, sir, my name is Brad, and we will see you on the next broadcast here.